This video is brought to you by Virtual Shield's VPN service. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's basically an app that you install on your computer or mobile device that encrypts your information and protects it from hackers and greedy websites trying to track your data. Having a VPN can save you from instances like your credit card information being found or somebody hacking into your home security system. Cheap, helpful, extremely easy to use. Check out Virtual Shield's VPN on sale now. Links will be in the description below. Yo, what's up guys? Jordan here on Saturday, December 21st. I wasn't feeling so hot this week, so I took a few days off YouTube, which I hate doing because then I have to play catch up. And I'm gonna play catch up this weekend by doing a few different videos on different topics. This one is going to be on vaccines, one of the most important fights going on right now. And it's an often overlooked fight, often ignored. And in fact, it's one of the most censored ones out there. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. You know, people tend to get in their own respective boxes, in their own little bubbles, whether it's the political bubble or the Q1 or paranormal UFOs over here and whatnot. We have an unfortunate sort of compartmentalization between groups out there. And especially in the realm of politics, like they try to claim that censorship just happens to them. They don't really realize how much censorship goes on in the natural health world and how much lies and propaganda there is about that. So that's why I devote some videos and content time and again to talking about big pharma, vaccine truth, natural health, and things like this, because again, there's so many topics out there. Each of them are important. They're all really connected in some way, shape, or form. And the vaccine topic, incredibly important because we don't want to be injected with poison, do we? We want to really understand how our minds and bodies work, don't we? We want to expose the corruption within government and within the giant corporations that are diseasing us, you know, causing us all these problems, lying to us. So let's get to it in this video. And I have a few different articles, a few different news stories that I'm going to go through that happened this week. And we're going to start in New Jersey. So the story out of New Jersey is actually a good one. It's some good news in the vaccine fight. And this one has to do with a state legislature bill that was denied. It was rejected. And they were trying to bring forth mandatory vaccinations. They were trying to remove exemptions and force school children to get vaccinated. That failed in New Jersey this week. So let's dig into this story. As you know, states around the country in the last few months, they've been trying to repeal vaccine exemptions. So Washington State, Oregon, Cali, Colorado, New Jersey, New York. You know, unfortunately, it seems to be a lot of blue states, left-leaning states that are trying to remove vaccine exemptions. I guess a lot of those left-wingers trust our government way more than they should. But nevertheless, a lot of states trying to remove exemptions, whether it's philosophical exemptions, whether it's religious exemptions. They're just trying to get their freaking people vaccinated mandatorily, and it's awful. And in New Jersey, they've been trying to bring forth what's probably the most strictest vaccine law in the country that's removing religious exemptions. It passed their House legislature, moved on to a vote in the Senate. 2 or 3 days ago, it was voted on in the Senate. And when that vote happened, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of protesters, people who wanted the truth about vaccines out there, who opposed this bill. They descended upon the New Jersey State Capitol to voice their concerns. And they were loud. They were very loud. They were very well organized, very well informed. And get this, that vaccine law did not have enough votes to pass the New Jersey State Senate. It stumbled. Boom! Killed! Well, actually, it hasn't been killed. The final vote, I believe, is going to happen on like January 9th with this bill. But nevertheless, their Senate, not enough votes to progress it. So the hundreds, if not thousands, of protesters that were there, I mean, it worked. It worked. They voiced their oppositions. The legislators were like, oh my God, there's too many people here. I can't vote in support of this. They're all outside my friggin' office, and they're all pissed off right now. So that goes to show you. I mean, take note of this. Political people out there, people who want the truth about, I don't know, our government and technologies and whatever the case is. If you want the truth about anything from our government or giant corporations, take note from the anti-vaxxers here. Really, the ex-vaxxers. because most people who are anti-vaxxers used to be pro-vaxxers. They saw something happen with them. Now they're ex-vaxxers. Take note from them here, because that's how you do things. And then in the mainstream media, of course, they're trying to spin this situation, cover it up, make it as benign as they can. The New York Times was one of the first outlets to run an article on this. Of course, it was the New York Times, very close to New Jersey there. They're often activated to attack different conspiracy theories, different topics like that. In the New York Times, they tried to spin this and downplay it quite a bit. They said that the decision in the New Jersey legislature here came amid raucous protests with dozens of parents who oppose mandatory vaccinations standing just outside the door to the state Senate, stomping and chanting, etc., etc. So they're trying to make, of course, the vaccine truthers look crazy, seem pissed off and unstable, etc., etc. Which, yeah, they're pissed off. I totally see why they would be pissed off, but they're very informed. If you've ever met somebody who is deep into the vaccine truth community, they are some of the most informed people of any community out there. It's really incredible. And they're some of the most well-organized as well. So the New York Times, they're trying to downplay this, say just dozens where people were there. But check out this video from the ground. That's the beautiful thing these days, right? We have cameras, we have the technology in our hands, so you can go be on the ground at an event and take a video of exactly what's going on. So we can use that to combat whatever the crap the fake news puts out there to try to spin about it. So look at this video on Twitter. Do you see how many freaking people are there? Look at everybody on the steps. There's like a dozen people per step. People there with their American flags because they want freedom. We want freedom in this country, right? Not just freedom of information. We don't want to be censored on the internet, but freedom of medical choices. It's my body. I should decide what I want to do with it. And I should be able to decide what I want to do with my children's bodies too. Especially when it comes to untested products made by questionable companies. But you can see they're just trying to downplay it there. So many hundreds, if not thousands. I'm excited about this because of how incredible this is. How so many people organized like this to make their voices heard and to actually do something that mattered. State legislature in New Jersey denied it. So anyway, that's what's going on in New Jersey. Still a full vote expected in a couple of weeks. Be taking a look at that. And speaking of fake news media, mainstream media trying to downplay and attack vaccine truthers, the Washington Post as well doing this just yesterday. They released this one yesterday. So a lot of them coming out this week. You know, again, it's one of those topics that the media is always there trying to attack. WaPo doing it yesterday, and they're trying to attack the anti-vaccine movement through Dr. Mercola. They're using him as a straw man and attacking Mercola to attack the vaccine truthers. So there's a full spread of logical fallacies here, of course, like every Washington Post article. And in this article, which we can deconstruct line by line for the BS, again, they're trying to attack Dr. Mercola and his donations to various vaccine truth organization and groups out there. So Dr. Mercola contributed almost $3 million to the National Vaccine Information Center. This article goes on to also talk about his donations to the Organic Consumers Association. Oh, WaPo, big threat there. He's donating money to get people to eat more organic food and research these pharmaceutical products before they take them. Big whoop. But of course, WaPo, they're putting in their spin on the story. They're trying to say vaccines are necessary and prevent disease. They even bring up this situation in Samoa as well in this article and trying to say that, in Samoa, huge outbreak of measles because Samoans are not vaccinated, which is not the truth. This measles outbreak in Samoa actually happened after 120,000 vaccines were shipped to the territory and forcefully injected into their population. So, always trying to spin the truth, of course. They're even talking about the Samoan anti-vaccine activist Edwin, who was jailed for posting on Facebook all of his successes with healing measles with vitamin A. Medical authorities there, probably UN authorities as well, they didn't like that. They didn't want anybody standing up to their mandatory vaccine programs and exposing that, so they threw Edwin in jail. WaPo spinning that. They're trying to say he was arrested for allegedly claiming on social media that measles vaccinations would result in mass deaths. So they threw him in jail. Anyway, horrible WaPo piece, all trying to shit on Dr. Mercola and all sorts of different connected networks and organizations through this. Again, the National Vaccine Information Center, who was started by Barbara Loe Fisher, Organic Consumers Association. Honestly, in this article, everything that WaPo is trying to say is like fake news or don't read. You should probably read. You can get a lot of great information from. Like Dr. Mercola. My experience with Dr. Mercola, I came across his website probably back in 2011 or 12. And when I was waking up to a lot of natural health information, going down those rabbit holes, Dr. Mercola's website was incredible. I learned so much from that website. It was great stuff. I didn't buy any of his supplements or anything like that because I had my own preferred sources, but I can't knock a guy for trying to build his own brand or business through natural health supplements and through a website. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what more people should be doing. Absolutely. So, Dr. Mercola, great website. Read his stuff if you want to learn. Organic Consumers Association, National Vaccine Information Center, more great outlets. I've had a lot of people ask me lately, Jordan, I want information on a flu shot because tons of people are trying to make me get it and all this stuff. And I just basically say, you know, go look at what the mainstream media tries to attack. Read them. Read Del Bigtree, Andrew Rakefield, Mercola, all these names. Like, they put it out there for you. They just try to say it's fake when it's the truth. So there's that on WaPo. Few more stories here, and we'll finish up on this. How about the FDA approving the first ever Ebola prevention vaccine? Well, there you go. One of the worst lies they've ever tried to sell to us is that vaccines prevent disease. And I mean, shoot, it'd be a lot easier to prevent diseases like Ebola if they didn't create these damn diseases in the first place, right? So that's that. And also, yeah, I'm not taking this at all because, number one, look into the true history of the FDA, what some people call, what I call the Fraud and Death Administration, the Food and Death Administration, or the you can make your own wording there for it. So the FDA, I mean, just look into what they've been doing to the natural health industry for the last 50 years. Literally mafia-like suppression. They will raid raw milk farmers and natural product manufacturers with SWAT teams. Literally, they will bring forth warning letters and injunctions and all sorts of other things. They will, of course, the FDA and their revolving door with the pharmaceutical and the agricultural industries. During Obama's term, what was it, in like 2012, I think it was? He took a Monsanto executive and made him the head of the FDA. His name was Michael Taylor, if I'm getting that right. So there's always a revolving door there. The FDA, the CDC, there's just so much corruption in these areas of government. So I can't believe that some people these days literally still believe what comes from the FDA. Blows my mind. Like, oh, the FDA put out a warning letter about this thing. I should avoid it. If the FDA tells you that something is going to kill you, it's probably good for you. Again, anything the media or the establishment tries to shoo you away from, move towards that. Look into it. Might help you. Might be good for you. And not just that, but who makes the Ebola vaccine as well? We're talking about the FDA, but what's the private contractor making the Ebola vaccine here? Merck! Oh, another one. Just looking at the true history of Merck. No way I would ever take anything from Merck. Merck, the corporation where two of its former vaccine scientists are suing Merck for falsifying vaccine data. So I wouldn't doubt if much of the science around this Ebola vaccine was faked, and maybe some FDA scientists were paid off to run this through the approval process, get it out to the public. Wow. There's some people making some easy money with that one. Do you know how much money these sickos make on vaccines, it's truly incredible. The markup, like we know all about markup that corporations do, happens all the time in the defense industry, paying, what, $40,000 for a toilet seat. Happens in the pharmaceutical industry too, paying $800 for a freaking saline bag. Same thing with these vaccines. Each one they can sell for hundreds of dollars to an insurance company or, you know, this government agency or whatever the case. Huge markup. Doesn't cost that much to produce these things. Pharmaceutical companies are making billions, if not trillions, over the span of a few years over these vaccines, okay? So is that helping connect some dots? Do you understand why they're always trying so hard to make vaccines mandatory, get people to take them, to shut up the anti-vaxxers? It's money. It's money. Money and power and control. Because, of course, making us sick and stupid, well, they want a lot of sick, stupid people to control. A lot easier to control that way. So let's just make all the people who get their doctoral licenses, their PhDs, make them ignorant, prop up their egos, make them think they're the smartest people around, and get them to start telling people to vaccinate. Everybody will listen to those authorities, right? Anyway, one more story, two more stories actually, two more here. Scientific American. This one came out a couple of days ago, and another one. I'm like, looking at the names involved. No can do on this one. Scientific American, which is hardly actually a scientific publication. So much propaganda comes from them. Scientific America. Invisible ink could reveal whether kids have been vaccinated. A technology that embeds immunization records into a child's skin. This isn't a microchip, but it's pretty much the exact same thing as being microchipped. Which, nope, not a zip, zero zilch. It's going to be a no from me, dog. And essentially what this is a group of researchers out of MIT developed what is basically a tattoo. And it's the injection of an invisible ink that's injected at the site of every vaccine. And that invisible ink can be seen with a special phone filter, I guess. And it can last up to 5 years. And it's basically like a way that they can check on a person's skin if they've ever had that vaccine before in their life. Oh my God. Talk about Mark of the Beast. Talk about Orwellian dystopian shit. This is it right here. 5 years of an invisible ink that's tracking kids' vaccination records on their skin? Yeah, no. Plus, take a look at this. Who is it funded by? It says in this article, this work was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and came about because of a direct request from the Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates himself, who has been supporting efforts to wipe out diseases such as polio and measles across the world. There's a lie, vaccines preventing and reducing diseases. And there's another lie with Bill Gates being a philanthropist. Hell no, he's a eugenicist. You ever seen the interviews and the words Bill Gates speaks himself where he's talking about, things are overpopulated. We need to decrease the population for, I don't know, whatever reason they say, climate change or some made-up bullshit. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, direct request from Microsoft founder Bill Gates for this. And of course, again, we're talking money. We're talking these millionaires, billionaires making more friggin' money. Bill Gates is helping with vaccine programs around the world, especially in third world countries, which, God, that's sick stuff because it's not like they can defend themselves or do anything about it. So Bill Gates, vaccine programs, third world countries around the world. How much money is he making from that? Putting into his nonprofit, his foundation where he doesn't get taxed. Huh. No wonder that he's trying to make vaccines mandatory, having a direct request for technology like this to make sure people are vaccinated. It's awful stuff, man. Awful stuff. Another thing that's going to be a no from me. And then last article I have for you guys is a story that exposes some of the lies, some of the propaganda around vaccines themselves. And that's this right here. Whooping cough outbreak closes a Texas school despite 100% vaccination rate. You heard that right. 100% vaccination rate. So the St. Teresa Catholic School in Memorial Park, Texas will be closed until January 6th due to a whooping cough outbreak, okay? It's a private school. So in a private school, it's going to have 100% vaccination rates, right? They can, do what they want basically at a private school. And this goes to show you that herd immunity is bullshit. Herd immunity. One of the underlying, foundations of false understanding that they always try to sell their vaccines with. Oh yeah, we have to have like a 90 or 95% vaccination rate to make sure everybody is okay and the whole public is safe and protected. Then why do we get so many freaking outbreaks in 100% vaccinated populations? It's been happening multiple times over the last few years. How about it was another whooping cough outbreak in a 100% vaccinated population. It was in an LA private school. That was earlier this year in like March or April. There's another one. How about that Navy ship, the Fort McHenry? Was it? It basically had to circle the Mediterranean for a couple months earlier this year because they had a mumps outbreak. And we're talking military, so again, 100% vaccination rate. They have like 150% vaccination rate in the military. Injecting you for things you'll never even encounter in your life, just keep sticking you, right? It's awful stuff. And those are just of a couple examples. I could go through more of whooping cough and mumps and these diseases that we vaccinate for. So again, do your own research, guys. Think for yourself. Go to these sources, educate yourself. Don't listen to these, quote, authorities with the fancy plaques on their wall with the piece of paper that they paid like, what, $300,000 for and the alphabet in front of their name. All these things mean nothing. They mean nothing. And in fact, what they mean is that the ego of that person is probably propped up a lot more than it should be, and they think they're a lot smarter than they really are. When they're not that smart, all they really are is just good at regurgitating information that they're told. They're good sheep. So look past all of these superfluous things. Do your own research, think for yourself, and in my opinion, reject the poison. That's all for this one, guys. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell, little notification thing, whatever. I don't know. Follow the links. They're all down below. Thanks for watching. More is coming soon. Done.